Morning, everyone. Welcome once again to Macau and the F3 FIA World Cup for Macau 2019. This is an event that has grown in stature, without a doubt, since the early 80s, when the first running of this F3 quasi-World Cup, as it was now, then it is now a actual World Cup. And began back in 1983 when Ayrton Senna was the recipient of the first major trophy. And the rest, as they say, is history. Alongside me is Alan Hyde, Jonathan Green and Alan Hyde, bringing you the coverage from the Suncity Group Formula 3 Macau Grand Prix. This, the qualification race coming up. And this effectively is a mini race to decide the grid for, I say mini, it's certainly not, but this first foray of the weekend will decide the grid for the major race. And at the moment, the cars are just literally going through pit lane and warming the engines. And as you can see, a huge gathering on site. And we welcome our viewers around the world. We are live streaming across the world. And we welcome our broadcasters who are taking the coverage of this most prestigious event. And there are many great motor racing events around the world, but Macau is right up there with the very best. There's no question about it. It's grown in status since those early days of the early 80s. And it's been a regular part of the end of season for the up-and-coming drivers of single-seaters. I know a lot of those graduates are currently probably tucking themselves up in Sao Paulo as they get ready for their big weekend. But we welcome you, the community of Formula One, who always tune in to watch this, whether it be graduates of the racers, engineers, team managers, and prospective employees of this man, Robert Schwartzman. Ferrari will certainly be watching right now as their man, Robert Schwartzman, gets ready. Robert Schwartzman is a Russian from St. Petersburg, won the FIA F3 Championship this year, beating his two teammates, Jahan Daruvala and Marcus Armstrong, who also races here today. Sadly, Jahan couldn't make it. We wish you well, my friend, and come back next year, please. But India will be represented. Arjun Maini is racing this afternoon, or this morning.
Or this evening, wherever you are in the world.
It's all good.
I think he's one of the great stories as well.
Yes,
Arjun Maini has had a very good meeting so far. He qualified on the outside of the fourth row of the grid, so he's definitely one to watch. You mentioned Marcus Armstrong. He's going to start on the inside of the fifth row of the grid because things did not. He was top of the times yesterday.
Yeah, very tough story, that.
And all of a sudden things went a little bit awry when he was on a very quick lap in the third sector of the circuit. Opportunity with Sophia Flörsch now to explore the circuit for the first time. And the first time, of course, that these cars have been here for the Suncity Group Formula 3 Macau Grand Prix. And so far, they have proved to be incredibly exhilarating cars, haven't they?
She's made a really interesting choice with her helmet colours. She's got the Macau logo incorporated into it. She's also got a couple of dice on the front and sort of symbolising the gambling city that is Macau.
And I noticed this morning, actually, Sophia had been on social media thanking Bell for the helmet. Yep. Of course, the helmet that kept her safe last year, and this her 12 months later return to Macau.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing her race here. She didn't get a chance last year, and I'm really looking forward, as she is, you know, and this is really her first major international event well, in fact, it's her first major international event in this car. So, big opportunity for the German, and she will relish it. She's a brave young lady, there's no question about it. I like her style.
Without a real opportunity to explore this car in the dry before this weekend. So it's a huge mountain to climb. But Sophia now takes her place up on the grid.
Yes, she's not certainly up the sharp end of the grid, but we've seen many Macau Grand Prix. Things can go wrong, and people get in trouble here. As we take a look at another German, but this one with a bit more of a famous name. Yes, it is Schumacher. And yes, it's the same family. It's Ralph's son, David. Great to have him. Ralph's here, another former winner of the Macau Grand Prix, as was his brother, Michael, back in 1990. And Ralph went on in 95 to win it. And now David's here. We had Mick here last year. I think that's, I was asking, I think 4 people from the same family. That's probably a record here at Macau too, as we look at Kivan Andres in the HWT. Kivan coming back for another try at Macau. This man making his debut for ART, the Spaniard, Sebastian Fernandez. Hasn't had too much to talk about. He stayed out of trouble, has Fernandez.
He's actually Venezuelan, I think, and he runs under a Spanish license.
Right.
I think
well, this man's not.
No, and only in his 4th year of car racing as well.
Is he not one of the youngest ever?
Yeah, I think, if not the youngest ever, he's pretty close to it. He's 17 and a quarter, and a very impressive young...
I thought you stopped doing that after 5.
18. 18,
okay, 18
you stop doing that, yeah.
Right, okay, gotcha. Here's Campos racing with those distinctive colours, and this man, Enem Ahmed, from Great Britain. A lot of Brits there this year, and Enem Ahmed being coached and mentored, as are many of the drivers, by Roberto Merri, who of course has been coming to Macau for many a year. Roberto going on, as so many do, from Macau and making it to Formula One briefly. And now he's doing some driver coaching and a little bit of LMP2 himself, so I think he'll be racing here in Asia next week, actually. And here's a man we haven't spoken a great deal about, Felipe Lukovitch. He's a Brazilian, and you're tuning in Sao Paulo. Check this kid out. I was talking to Trevor Carlin about him, and he said, pretty good peddler. Impressive. Trevor doesn't show high praise, and also I always watch who Trevor Carlin picks to come to Macau. Now this man's making a name for himself, Liam Lawson, making his debut at Macau. Certainly has made a debut onto the international scene this year by becoming a runner-up. He's done 2 championships, in fact, which is never an easy thing to do, but he did them. He was runner-up at the European Open Series and also took part in the FIA F3 Championships, which got a couple of podiums and finished 11th overall. Here is Alessio Lorandi of Italy in car number 15. This his 2nd visit. He came here, funnily enough, in 2015, so it's been a while, but he's back again. Now, what can we say about this man?
Quite a lot. Double winner, looks calm and relaxed, and even has a moment to wave to the camera. Daniel Ticktum, he's won for the last 2 years. Last year, a dominant win at Macau.
But things have changed since that time.
And yesterday, really struggling to get a clear lap in qualifying when the car was late for the 2nd qualifying session after a free practice 2 accident, which couldn't be avoided when he went into another car, and that was the car of David Beckman.
Max Futrell, another one of the Renault Junior team, and I know that the head of the Renault Junior team is here. I had dinner with him last night. Very excited to see his young kids in action. And I'm also excited to see Habsburg race, because I've watched this man race, man and boy, as it were. Watched him grow up literally in front of my eyes in both New Zealand on several occasions, here in Europe, here and in Europe.
I like his character. He's
a great character.
He was asking on social media for suggestions to add to his playlist to get him pumped up for the race this morning. I like that.
Logan Sargent from Boca Raton in Florida, the lone American here this year. And still pretty young, but a former World Kata champion. And yeah, I don't think we've seen the best of this kid yet. And And what about this man? Another New Zealander, Marcus Armstrong, another Ferrari Academy driver. And a man who would be king had he not just made one mistake. I've got a feeling he would have been right up there, but now he's got a lot of work to do.
And then he just had to watch the rest of the times come in
must have been
from the sidelines,
But Marcus is a strong fella. He'll get out there. Arjun Miney, you know, he could be an outside bet for at least a podium today.
It's been impressive so far.
Well, he's got all the experience to stay calm and cool, and he's got nothing to lose.
Here's a star.
Yes. Coming in at the last minute, Frederick Vesti for Jahan Daruvala, and the Dane, to be honest, has been immaculate. Really good. Hasn't put a foot wrong all weekend long.
Jake Hughes topped the times in Q1. He was not really featuring in Q2 until the second half of the session, where he was able to secure the third row of the grid on the outside.
I say watch out for this kid, Richard Verschoor. Again, I've seen him race many a time, and he has, as a rookie, been really, really impressive. Yeah, Jake Hughes, he's got a 6, he's got a 4th, and maybe this is his weekend. And here's another man to watch out for. A lot of people talking about Christian Lingard, the Dane, another Renault Formula One junior driver, and definitely with an earmark to make it to greater things. And so too this man. Callum Ilott, can't count him out for a win here. He's never won here, but the Sauber junior team by Sharos Dallara entry is definitely one of the favourites here.
And hadn't driven the car before this weekend. He's been in Formula 2 this year, so a step back to the Formula 3 car.
Is this the favourite?
For many it will be. He has been incredibly exhilarating when we've done laps around the Macau circuit, when we've driven on board with him.
The speed of this man in pole, Yuri Vips, the high-tech Grand Prix, and Yuri 4th in the championship behind those 3 Prima boys, and I think there's a little point to prove here.
Stunning last year on a debut at Macau, which is always impressive when you see a rookie going so well, but didn't get a clear lap in qualifying last year, so therefore the overall result perhaps didn't represent how quick he was, but yesterday, just beautiful. The only car in the 204s, a 204.997, that's pole for this qualification race.
I have to say, if he can get a clean start, he's in a good position, but of course it's a double-edged sword, this race, because yes, you want to win it, but the risk you might take in doing so could ruin your possibility of winning the overall Macau Grand Prix. This is the qualification race to decide the grid for tomorrow's main race.
And now the moment when the drivers are left on their own, the final few engineers and mechanics just have a final word. A wish of good luck. And
yep,
the drivers
bang on the helmet
and machines are left alone on the grid in the countdown to get racing in 2019 at the Circuito de Gia underway.
Here is your grid then. Vips and Schwartzman, Ilott and Lingard. Those are the front 2 rows. That's followed by Richard Verschoor and Jake Hughes, Vesti and Arjun Miney. Then after them comes Marcus Armstrong and Logan Sargent. Watch for them to come forward. Behind them, Ferdinand Habsburg with loads of experience, Max Frettrell. Then Daniel Ticktum, who has to go well here if he's going to be looked at for time and years to come. Caldwell, Fernandez, Schumacher, Pulcini, Esner, Flörsch, the German and lone female, and Delada and Fittipaldi, Enzo Fittipaldi, a famous name, and yes, the grandson of the great Emerson.
Potentially the fastest name in motorsport.
Yeah, well, after Andretti, yeah. There's an argument there. But here we go, folks. Welcome around the world to the famous Macau Grand Prix. Jonathan Green and Alan Hyde bringing you all the action from the first qualification race. And as they head down the famous boulevard that is the run to Lisboa, conditions partly cloudy, but nice and cool. It's a morning temperature. This is probably the coolest they've run in.
Yeah, the air temperature 25, the track temperature 27. Yesterday, track temperature was 37. So, yeah, significantly cooler.
Very, very important time. They've all done a full season around the world in FIA F3, and for those of you who don't know, GP3 became F3 this year. 10 teams were picked, and bar a few outsiders, and I say outsiders, but a few coming back from F2 and people like Arjun Maini, it pretty much is the FIA F3 field. So they all know each other's style, they all know each other's ability, and they're all very fast, and more importantly, as part of the Formula One package now, they are all gunning for super license points and to be noticed. That is why we have Renault Juniors, Red Bull Juniors, and Ferrari Academy drivers here. These guys are the chosen few, but which is the best of them? That's the question. So why not throw the hardest track in the world at them and see who comes out on top? It's a brilliant idea, but it's one that's come to fruition since the 80s.
It's the race that everyone wants to win tomorrow afternoon here at Macau, and this is the pathway to do so, the qualification race.
And those that have won here have either gone on to Formula One or at least have gone on to become professional drivers. This is the very, very creme de la creme of single-seater racers. And so many racing drivers I meet around the world, not just in Formula One, but in sports cars and in endurance racing and some single-seaters, talk with such heartwarming stories of their experience of Macau, because it is that time. Many of them 17, 18 and 19. It's a very impressionable age, but also it's a pressure cooker, because this is where they are judged. This is where Formula One looks to its talent for the future. Max Verstappen came here. He'd already got his Formula One contract, and I remember Jenson Button was similar. And so many of the greats have been here. Coulthard won here, Schumacher won here. Both Schumachers, Ralph and Michael, I should say, have won here. And more recently, Sete Camera, Felix Rosenqvist, now an IndyCar star. And more recently, Dan Ticktum, who races here today and goes for what has never been done before, which is to win Macau 3 times in a row. It's going to be a very, very tough job when you look at the field in front. Yuri Vips on the left-hand side, the current European champion, FIA F3 champion, Schwartzman alongside him. The long run with these faster cars, with DRS, we'll get into that later. But this is a real vaunt into the unknown. We've not raced these cars ever at Macau. There will be a little holding of breath to see how this all goes. But we are looking forward. I just got the thumbs up from the Portuguese commentators and the Chinese commentators. We're all in the same boat. Up go the Reds. They hold them, and out go the lights, and away we go. Yuri Vips has got a flying start. Superb start by the Estonian. Just what he wanted. And the Red Bull Junior is off to the races. Everybody jostling for position. Good start, good clean start. A 10-lap race this. Dust flies up as they go offline. Into Mandarin for the first time, the first 10. Wow, they made it all through. Now down to Lisboa, the second test. And Vic still holding them off. But Schwartzman's right there with him. Into the famous Lisboa. A little bit of jostling for position. One of the cars has come round. And one of the... well, we've had another complete stop now. Half the field involved. Some will get through, some won't. But it was definitely one of the Carling cars involved. But it was one of the Yensa cars that caused the immediate incident to start that. Out comes the safety car. Or at least we'll have probably... And they're trying to get going, but the rest of the field have managed to scuttle through. And, well, Alan, I've said it before. just because you don't qualify well does not mean you're not in contention. And now, several of the back markers that got through, squeezed through that incident, will now be in contention.
And just because of a little brush of the barrier on the outside of the exit at Lisboa, just a little mistake. You cannot afford to make this.
Oh, that's Argentine. I can see the JK colours. Yeah, that's
I did
young
rather
Indian.
wonder if it would be. So Argentine has had such a good weekend so far. The tiniest of mistakes. Can we talk about Yuri Vips off the line as well? That was absolutely perfect, wasn't it?
That
absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Don't see anything wrong with that.
Schwartzman not allowing him to get away. Lundgaard also not allowing them to get away. And how very disappointing for Argentine, who gets out of the cockpit.
Look, they've all got going again. So actually, you know, there was one of the Buzz Carlin boys who got, oh, that's the 16. That's also another car out. That's Jake Hughes. Another one of the favourites. So he hasn't fared well. There's also one of the Campos cars parked up that isn't going, and he's got damage. Is that NM Ahmed?
Is the car damaged, or
I think so.
Is it stalled?
But certainly I saw one of the Carlin boys get thrown up onto, that is number 32, NM Ahmed, yeah. So the Brit goes out, and let's hope they can get him going, because if they can, the damage looks, no, he's taking the steering wheel, it's off.
Oh, dear.
So, two very fast men with lots of experience here at Macau. And look at the fluid here on Lisboa. That's not good. They'll get it cleared up, but
bit of work needs to be done down there,
work to be done. So let's just take our breath and also watch and wonder at how quickly they clear this up. There's nothing like it in the world. Here's another look at it. And as we head down to it, keep an eye on the Yensa, all blue, in about 5th, 6th place now. As he turns in, he's on the outside now. There he is. He just gets a clip there from the Carlin car. That throws him into the wall, and then as you can see, that's the car I'm talking about that got lifted. And that was another one of the Carlin cars. And I'm wondering whether that contact was with, who would it have been? It might have been Tictum. So, let's see what we've got in store. Vips leads, as you can see. I think that's Tictum, you know.
Well, one of the vital things for Tictum was to make up as many places as was physically possible, as early as possible, having started from the 7th row of the grid. Absolutely vital to get the perfect start and to be in the leading bunch early on in the race.
One thing I can tell you, Christian Lingard is up to 3rd, Callum Ilott is up to 4th. So it's Vips, Schwartzman, Lingard, Ilott, Verschoor. Sargent is up there. Here's another look at the start. It was a brilliant start by Yuri Vips. And it's so hard at Macau because you're also a sitting duck as the poleman here because of this long run. I hadn't really mentioned that. But look, he's swerving from side to side just to stay out of trouble because everybody else is you know, you're almost, you can't, it's a really hard thing from pole to stay ahead.
The fascinating thing was that Schwartzman was absolutely his shadow. He followed every move, didn't he?
Yeah, and Lingard almost got past Schwartzman, then goes to the outside. Again, look for the blue car just behind. That is Argentine, and now watch for the car touching him here. It is Tictum.
And the inevitable narrowing of the circuit after that one little mistake on the barrier on the outside of Lisboa, one of the iconic corners at the gear circuit at Macau. And that sees Dan Tictum down in the garage.
Yep.
So the car in for repairs, not for the first time this weekend. Repairs finished in time to get the car out in qualifying, but not able to take part in the first part of qualifying. So it's already quite an uphill battle this weekend for the defending champion. Dan Tictum down in the garage.
To be fair, he's had 2 fairy tale runs here at the Macau Grand Prix. Last year, he wasn't topped in any of the sessions.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And went on to win both races. Unbelievable.
And also, after winning the previous year, he had something to prove as well, because it was almost an inherited win the previous year, and he had to prove that it was in his own right.
Poor old
Jake Hughes, I know.
And of course, it's HWA's first running here. Yeah, that's a shame, a real shame, because he was their top guy. And
he's been so impressive this weekend.
Now, just to be clear, so you understand, this is a qualification race, folks. So they'll be in the Grand Prix tomorrow. But obviously, they will be right at the back. That means Arjun Maini, Ahmed, and Jake Hughes, and possibly now Tictum. We'll see. Tictum's probably going to get out, but at the back. But he's not losing too much time now at the moment. But he's going to have to get a run on quickly, otherwise he's going to be a lap down. So the track being cleared now.
I'm just looking down the timing screen here. Enzo Fittipaldi is
he's
in
up to
15th place.
And David Schumacher's in the top 10 behind fellow German David Beckmann, who actually has had a pretty raw deal this weekend. He had a crash. He came in as one of the favourites, no question about it. Also, a man you should keep an eye on is Habsburg. He's up to 7. And Richard Bashaw, the rookie.
I need to talk about Enzo Fittipaldi again, because I just need to say, he was 30th on the grid.
Yep.
He was on the very back of the grid.
But that's Macau.
He's made up half of the field in the opening lap.
Not by doing anything special, mind, but
he has done something special. He stayed out of trouble.
There you go. Here's another look at the start. And Alan, I'm going to let you take this. What do you see that I perhaps didn't?
The one thing that I saw was how Schwartzman was shadowing Yuri Vips. He realised that Yuri Vips got a really good start. Look, he's in his wheel tracks every way. And then all of a sudden, he has to defend as well as attack. So he was having a look to see if he could give Yuri Vips a moment.
And now watch Lingard in third place.
Who
Look
is,
how close he is to
who is in turn shadowing Schwartzman.
Yeah. And Schwartzman had to defend and attack at the same time. Lingard slotting into spot there. Now watch up the inside. See, Tictum had made a really good move up the inside there before he took that touch there. And it's interesting that he's in because... so maybe, I'm just thinking this through now, I'm certainly getting some direction that might be the second of the Carlins that went through, and the first Carlin that went up the inside. Let's have a look. Who would it be? Here's a look from Schwartzman, and this will be a good illustration.
We've had some fascinating onboard shots from Schwartzman so far this weekend.
Slots right into the wheel tracks of Yuri Vips, gets right behind him. Vips, as you can see, is trying to sort of swerve a little bit. Here we go, into Mandarin. We're still looking on Schwartzman. He's got Lingard. Now, Lingard jinks to the inside. Defensive driving from Schwartzman, then decides to go to the outside. Now, watch the man coming through on the inside. Is that Logan Sargent coming here, right here, on the inside? Don't really see it on that, but I think it may be Logan Sargent that effectively took a nice overtake, which then pushed Arjun Maini. Not on purpose, mind you. There was no... anything untoward, but Tictum got involved in it, and that's why I think it was Tictum that went up in the air, as I noticed, as I said, one of the Carlin cars, and it was, I think, Tictum, and it was Logan Sargent who effectively caused, with Arjun Maini, the first incident. Here's another look at it. Cheeking out is 21, that's Richard Bashaw. Now, look at the inside line now, in about 8th place now, and look to, you see a distinct move down the inside of Lisboa behind one of the Carlins, and here it comes now, and I think, here he is, gets 1 place, 2, and they just have a slight touch, and that's Logan Sargent. There goes Tictum up in the air. Yeah, Tictum up in the air, and it's Sargent and Tictum. So there you go, we got it.
And then the inevitable car park behind. The safety car's coming in this lap.
Yes, so let's go racing again. Back to the action. Yuri Vips leads it. Schwartzman, the Russian, is in 2nd place. Estonia and Russia at the front. Denmark in 3rd with Lingard. Away they go, and Yuri Vips, the Red Bull. He really has got wings. Look at him go. Lingard now slots in again behind Schwartzman. Eilert is right where he needs to be in 4th. 21 is Bashaw, already putting pressure on the Englishman. Richard Bashaw gets in the slipstream and opens up the DRS. This is the DRS zone up until about here. There it is. And Vips leads them through this bar. First clean run through there. No issues this time as everyone is line astern.
Yep, a little easier when they're single file. You see the slippery surface flag being indicated there. They have dressed the fluid that was left down there in that first corner.
Good clean start then. Let's take a look. Who are we seeing coming forward? No overtakes, I don't think, in that restart. And DRS will be enabled this lap. So of course, they do the first 2 laps without the DRS, but I was just pointing out the zone, if you will, just after Mandarin, just before Lisboa. That's the opening close of the DRS. And if you don't know what DRS, drag reduction system, allows them effectively to open up that rear wing, as you do in Formula 1, and get yourself effectively a faster overtake. I almost don't think it's needed here because it's so fast.
These cars are so quick, aren't they? We've been doing some comparisons to times for the Formula 3 cars last year, and they are pretty eye-watering, these cars around the gear circuit, and so too the performance so far of these two, Yuri Vips and Robert Schwarzman, head through the Macau airpit. No overtaking here, and that will be throughout the weekend. Always here. You can understand why as well.
Yes, it's almost a repeat of the championship this year because Yuri Vips and Schwarzman have been at the sharp end. Schwarzman's hardly been off the podium and hardly had any error either. So here they come. We'll look at the gap now. Vips leads and just did 2 very, very quick sector times there to come across the line now with a 2:08. That's our first real flying lap now. Schwarzman a 2:09.3. Lingard, Eilert for sure. Logan Sargent, despite being involved in that incident, no problems for him. Morandi, the Italian, is 7. He's moved up a place. Habsburg drops to 8. Beckman, Schumacher still 10. Starting to spread out now.
Marcus Armstrong making his recovery after that first lap. He's up a place. He's up there in 21st place. But this is a tough one to climb. He's on a 2:13.642. And that's the result of being right the way down the order. Very much in traffic, Marcus Armstrong.
We ride with Schwarzman and we can see the Prix in front. It keeps popping out and going blind. But every now and again, as he just pops out from another blind corner, he sees the man in front, Yuri Vips. That's the target. That's the man he's got to stay with. But right now, Vips is doing the business. Now, the cat and mouse of this particular race will be DRS potentially. If you can get within a second of the man in front, then you can use that DRS. But that's what Vips knows. And right at the get-go, the tactics were always to stay ahead of the DRS zone and make yourself as fast as possible in the mountain section to avoid that potential overtake. But Schwartz is really going to have to push on early in this race now before tyres start to kind of not give them as much grip perhaps in the later part of the race. It's only a 10-lap race, but even so, as you can see, they're going hell-bent for leather right now.
Very impressive on the restart lap for Yuri Vips, and a 2:08.450 for Yuri Vips. He's got purple in sectors 2 and 3 on this lap as well. Great view from Schwarzman's car of the leader just in front, but Schwarzman's time on the last lap was a 2:09.387, 2:08.450 for Yuri Vips. That was mighty on the restart, wasn't it? Second.
Back with the German, Sophia Florsch, coming back to Macau. She's currently in 18th position. It's great to be in the midfield and on board because you really see the maelstrom that is Macau. Often the front view is a little bit teasier, but when you're right in the thick of it, it's really tough. Now the field's spreading out. Lingard's dropped some in 3rd place, and he's got a battle on his hands. As Bashor, Sargent, Morandi, Habsburg, Beckman, Schumacher all coming through. Pulcini, Andres. And look at this, Macau have a driver in the top 15, and that is Hong Choi is in 13th position. Through goes Logan Sargent, through Lisboa. They're still putting out the slippery surface sign, but I don't think it's going to affect them. In fact, they almost miss it as they go over it where Enem Ahmed had gone through. Sonoda has just done the fastest first split. He obviously got a good run on someone, and a 22.9 by the Japanese, who haven't really shown this weekend, but could do something now.
We've got a penalty for the start of this race, 3 places after qualifying. That was dished out. Marcus Armstrong not really making up any ground on that last lap, still down there in 21st place. Can I mention also in 8th place, Ferdinand Habsburg. He's had an up and down weekend so far this weekend. He's been beset by electrical problems as well. Things are going nicely now He's there in 8th place. No position changes on that last lap, but Schwartzman very much more on the tail of Juri Vips on that lap in terms of lap times. He did a 2:07.693. Juri Vips did a 2:07.459. So although Vips a couple of tenths quicker on that lap, Schwartzman not losing out that much on that lap.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Sonoda and Armstrong both on good pace at 2:09 in terms of those in front of them. But it's one thing to be fast, it's another to get through and get past. And as you say, it's going to be really tough for these guys to make up the places they need to get a good start for tomorrow's race.
This is interesting. Schwartzman has just gone purple, so quickest of all in sector 3.
Well, it's actually Fleur that's ahead of Sonoda and Armstrong, and we're looking at that battle right now. So fascinating shots, both forward-facing and rear-facing.
Schwartzman a 2:06.688 and a 2:06.895 for Juri Vips. So
somebody's pitting.
The chase is on. Robert Schwartzman quicker than Juri Vips for the first time in a lap during this qualification race.
But not by enough, really. 2:10 won't do it, and he's got to do something really special because Vips is holding him at the moment and has just done a personal best through the first split. Now we start to see a little bit more aggression as they come through towards the DRS zone. You just saw it in the background there. Here comes Han Choi to make a move. Got the Macau colours on that car. Can't quite pull it off. And the man in front of him is Dunner. And he's moved up to 12th place. There they go.
So Schwartzman on the last lap with the fastest lap of the race so far, a 2:06.688. On the first sector, a tenth quicker than Juri Vips, who puts in a personal best on this next sector as well, but it's not close enough to Juri Vips. A few tenths lost on the second sector.
And Juri so far showing a clean set of heels here and a real confidence, the Estonian. He's being looked after by Marco Asmer, who I had a good chat with about him, and he goes, steady as you go, and pole isn't everything, we've just got to get a good start. And I said, yeah, good point. But they did just that. But look at Schwartzman, he's caught nicely now, and he's definitely within range now of starting to knock on the door of DRS. Not quite yet, but he's getting there.
1.6 the gap between the two of them at completion of lap number 6 and a 10-lap qualification race. Juri Vips it is. Heads up to complete 7 laps now out of 10. What's the gap going to be between himself and Robert Schwartzman when they come up towards the line and cross the tying beam? Any moment now, that's Juri Vips, your race leader, up towards the line he goes. 7 laps are going to go in the book now. Across the line, and a fastest lap of the race, briefly held by Vips and then taken by Schwartzman. 2:06.467 down to 1.3, the gap between the top two.
He's taken a little bit out of him. The gap is 1.4, as you quite rightly mentioned. On Chui Loing is also having a great battle in the midfield. The Macau driver will keep an eye on that, but it's Schwartzman against Vips for the lead.
Marcus Armstrong's car is not right, is it, after that first lap problem? Still there in 21st place. Not really. He's up to 20.
And Schumacher's dropping down
place.
quickly. I think he's the one that may have pulled in, but he's going down the list quickly. He's either come off or has retired, but either way.
And Vesti in 21st place, just got the fastest speed of the race so far at 2:95. And put in an overall best first sector as well. He's down there in 21st place. It's not really particularly demonstrative of the speed that Vesti has shown this weekend. So Juri Vips leads from Robert Schwartzman and the gap 1.4.
Well, we got the pack and then the cars were shuffled at the Lisboa, and we've got a very different complexion to this race, but no change at the top because it's Schwartzman versus Vips as we expected. And look at these shots of Schwartzman, a man on a mission, the man from St. Petersburg, determined to become the next Russian in F1. And he says he doesn't care whether there's 10 Russians or 1 Russian. He's the one that will make it to Formula 1. Vitaly Petrov is his mentor, and very interesting to see how these two work. Schwartzman is getting as close as he's been now, and you look at that turn on the wheel, the Ferrari Academy driver against the Red Bull Junior. Well, it's Ferrari versus Red Bull, but this in a smaller version.
Some wonderful shots of the cat and mouse game for the top 2 places on the podium. Right. Juri Vips put in the overall best in the second sector on this lap. Juri Vips leading from Robert Schwartzman as we chase them down. They're coming up to the conclusion in sector 4 of lap number 8. 2 to go at the end of this one. Across the line goes Yuri Vips, 8 laps in the book now. Fastest lap of the race as well for the race leader at 2:06.317. He's controlling this, isn't he? He extends the gap by a tenth of a second, so 1.5 seconds between Schwartzman and Vips.
That's smart. Armstrong chasing hard on Flirsch right now. This is the rear view for her camera as they come down towards the last corner. Armstrong, one of the favourites coming into this race. He'll want this place and he'll want it now. Here he comes. He's got better speed than the German. Here comes the Kiwi. He's in the slipstream, but here comes another overtake. This time it's for sure. Nicely done on Callum Ilott. And the Dutchman makes up one spot, and he could be an outside chance of a win here. Making his debut at the Macau Grand Prix. Wouldn't that be special? Following in the footsteps of so many great Dutchmen that have been here, including the current Red Bull man, Max Verstappen. Oh no! Out goes the 29 of Drogovic of Brazil. And the boy from Brazil won't be doing samba tonight.
Straight on at Lisboa.
Yeah, that's a nasty incident, and one that could actually bring this race. Well, they should get it cleared up. Well, you know, they're so quick here, but we'll see. Right, let's get back to it. Vips, Schwartzman, Lingard. Still the top three, but now Verschoor is in 4th place. And yeah, in fact, it was that battle I was talking about with Honshu Leong in the Yensa car just behind him, and Drogovic just pushing too hard a little. As we go back with Richard Verschoor.
Through the Melco hairpin.
And you can see the gap between himself and Callum Ilott, 0.7. That's because Richard's just got past him.
So that in the battle for 4th place, just outside the podium positions for this qualification race, still being led by Yuri Vips. And with that car, I don't think it should take too long to clear the car from Lisboa.
And that's moved Enzo Fittipaldi up into a top 14 spot.
Who, in fairness, has had a quite superb qualification race.
Yeah. By his standards, to start at the back and then get it through to the top 14. Yeah, he's got a bit of luck there maybe, but that
staying out of trouble.
That's what Macau's all about.
He's got to do it.
Yep. Ilott now under pressure from Sargent. Logan Sargent involved in that incident earlier in the day, but no problems to his car. Logan Sargent, the American, looking now for a way past. Callum Ilott can't do it just here, under braking. And a little bit of damage to the Lisboa curve, but they'll get that sorted.
And the slippery surface going to display down there as well. Pretty inevitable after a collision like that down at Lisboa.
And Armstrong's on a tear. 2:09.2 his last lap, and now past 2 more cars and up to 17th place.
Absolutely fascinating performance by Yuri Vips. He was debuting here at Macau just 12 months ago. Had a huge amount of pace. Came here with many eyes around the world on Yuri Vips, and with qualifying going his way yesterday, he's able to display that pace in race as well, and he's done so beautifully today. 9 laps complete.
Yeah, and we still haven't got all the stories complete. I think Logan Sargent's going to have another go at the 25 of Callum Ilott before the end of the race. They head up towards Moorish Hill. Really no overtaking at this point. And into Donna Maria, and now officially no overtaking. It's a full course yellow there at all times. You cannot overtake until after the Melco. Here come your leaders, and Schwartzman's done a good job of keeping Vips honest, but Vips has controlled this race, as you rightly say.
Controlled it beautifully.
And it's a 2-horse race at the moment between the Russian and the Estonian. And this, the final lap, as they come round the last corner. And that was very tight indeed, but there's the checkered flag, and Yuri Vips wins the qualification race for Estonia. Schwartzman will take 2nd place. Lingard, a distant 3rd, but a strong 3rd, 2nd row start. And a really good run by the top rookie. And that, of course, Richard Verschoor. Great stuff then, and Ilott does hold off Sargent by the looks of things. And congratulations to Yuri's team. And they could celebrate for sure.
With good reason as well, because that was a textbook race, wasn't it? A perfect start. You said that Marco Asmer had said the perfect start is exactly what we need, and that was exactly what he did. Absolutely superb performance.
I misspoke before. Both Lingard and Vasseur are making their debut. And let's not forget, I just forget sometimes Christian Lingard has got quite a storied history that you'd expect to have been here, but it is his first run at the mighty Macau. So we've got two experienced men, first and second, two rookies, third and fourth, another experienced driver here, Callum Ilott in fifth place, then Logan Sargent making his debut in sixth, Lorandi coming back to Macau, he's seventh, Habsburg is right there in eighth, and David Beckman is ninth. Further down, and Alan heads off. And I think I'll just send Alan down to go and talk to the winner. Why not? See if you can get him. I think it'll be an interesting chat. So Alan Hyde heading out, and we'll just talk you through who else is in the running for the Macau Grand Prix of 2019. That the qualification race finished. David Beckman has put himself in a good position. He's had a bit of a torrid weekend, Beckman, and he's also had some pretty tough family issues to deal with, as poor old David, and we wish him well and his family. He's ninth at the moment. Pulcini is 10th. Kivan Andres is in 11th place after that first race. Dunner in 12th. Choi Leung of Macau in 13th position, and that's a really impressive start to his campaign here this year. And Enzo Fittipaldi, the youngster for the Ferrari Academy, in 14th position, ahead of the Spaniard Fernandez. And then a little further down, Sonoda, the Japanese, Armstrong, Marcus Armstrong, 17th in the end, ahead of Vesti, and Frederick Vesti in 18th position. Esther Lawson, 20th. And that'll be disappointing for Liam Lawson because he was showing good pace yesterday. And Flörsch returns to Macau and does what she came to do, which is finish a race and put this famous race under her belt, and she's done just that. Futrell is in 22nd place, Ollie Caldwell 23rd, Deleda in 24th place, David Schumacher did complete the race, but he dropped down the order down to 25th place, and then those that didn't complete the race include Lukovitch, who of course hit the barrier at Lisboa, Daniel Ticktum, who sadly was involved in that first lap incident, Jake Hughes, who likewise was involved in that incident, Arjun Maini got the worst of it, and so too NM Ahmed. Now, all of those men will be back tomorrow for the race, but they'll pretty much start right at the back where they see him. But this man can be very proud. What a superb job. And very similar to the championship itself, the Red Bull Juniors and the Ferrari Academy boys coming to the top. But I think Helmut Marko could be proud of his youngster. Really good job done. I'm sure they'll be tuning in Brazil to watch that first race and then heading to bed, because they've got their own business to do. There's a few investigations, but nothing to report as yet, as we sit and enjoy this moment with the Estonian. I think I mentioned before that Estonia's got a pretty good history here, when you consider the size of the country, and not that you'd expect racing drivers perhaps, but Marco Asman, the man I mentioned, was fourth in 2007. Ralph Aaron, of course, raced for Prima and High-Tech here, got a third place with Amersfoort, and a sixth place in 2018, and Kevin Koyos also raced here for Double R. So now it's Yuri Vips's chance. He got 19th place last year, but now it's his turn to win. Now they go in and weigh and make sure all is correct. Good camaraderie. They've raced hard against each other all year long. And just a confirmation of the results then of the qualification race. Yuri Vips, Robert Schwartzman, Lingard, Vasseur, Ilott. That's your top five. Then Logan Sargent is in 6th position. Lorandi in 7th. Habsburg 8th. David Beckman 9th. And Pulcini in 10th. Any one of, I always say, if you can get into the top 10 after that qualification race, you've got a chance of the big one. And it really is anyone's race. I think Christian Lingard will probably be the most pleased to be where he is and in a good position to fight for the overall title. Further down, David Beckman likewise has recovered well. And who knows, Leonardo Pulcini making his debut here with Campos could do something special. Kibani Andres in 11th position. And a little further down, you can see some work to do for the boys who are down there from 17th onwards, including Marcus Armstrong. But you never know. Another incident in the main race tomorrow, similar to what we just saw. And again, the complexion can change. So you never say never here at Macau. There's Yuri. And there's Marco Asma giving him the congratulations. So from one mentor to the youngster. And there's Robert Schwartzman, the lean figure of the Prima man, also getting the congratulations of Marco Asma as the top 3 go through. And Lingard. It's interesting, isn't it? Formula One seem to know what they're doing. All 3 are Formula One juniors. One a Renault, one a Ferrari, and one a Red Bull. So there you go. So let's take a look back at the qualification race. And it started off with anticipation, as always, for this grand event. Everybody getting a handshake and a good luck sign. Gloves on, and the fight was on. Yuri Vips got a flyer! The Estonian holding the lead throughout. He had to defend, though, from Schwartzman early on, and Lingard all over the back of Schwartzman. Then the first incident, Sargent just tapping Arjun Maini rather innocently, ticked him thrown in the air, and damage to his car, and the same for Jake Hughes, you just saw. And Hughes went out, Tictum went out, and you see it again there, ticked him up in the air, and that's what broke his suspension. You can see he did limp back to the pits. Meanwhile, at the front, it was all about Robert Schwartzman from St. Petersburg trying to reel in the rather hard-charging Estonian. And meanwhile, there were plenty of other battles. Sophia Fleury trying to hold off Sonoda and Armstrong, 2 of the faster men in the field, with not the track position they wanted. Lots of mistakes and lots of good overtakes. For sure, getting past Eilert. Drugovic hitting the famous Lisboa barriers and out of the race. But no stopping this man as Yuri Vips puts another Estonian name into the highlights. He wins the qualification race here at Macau 2019. So a chance for a break, a chance for a snack, and a chance to wave. And there they are. They're enjoying it. We, on the other hand, will be going to the podium. So we have our Suncity Group Formula 3 Macau Grand Prix qualification race podium coming up with our top 3, Christian Lingard.
We call the drivers forward in reverse order. So in 3rd place from Denmark, Christian Lingard.
And here he comes, Christian Lingard, the Dane, the tall, lean figure with the Renault colours on. And as I mentioned earlier, the man who runs the junior program is here to watch him race, and he'll be very pleased with that. Meanwhile, Robert Schwartzman has also made Ferrari proud again.
And the winner of the qualification race for the Macau Grand Prix, the Suncity Group Formula 3 Macau Grand Prix, from Estonia, Yuri Vips.
And a big roar for the man of the moment. Yuri Vips and ART are the winners of the qualification race.
The podium now, can I ask please Mr. Celestino Ali, Vice President of Information Technology of the Suncity Group,
Mr. Titmarch doing the job, and just to reiterate, it's Mr. Celestino Ali, the Vice President of Information and Technology of the Suncity Group, our major sponsor, and have been for 6 years now, giving out the prizes first to Christian Lingard. And Christian waves to the crowd.
To present the trophy to
and coming up next is Mr. Philip Wong, the Chief Financial Officer of the Suncity Group, to hand out the prize to Robert Schwartzman for his second place.
Garlands and trophies to Robert Schwartzman.
And the man from St. Petersburg. Now let's turn to our winner and to present the prize to him, Mr. Yoon Ming Chung, the President of Marketing Strategy for the Suncity Group. Here he comes to hand out the prize to our winner.
To present the garlands to
Yuri
the winner
Vips. A day he won't forget, Yuri.
Macau, Yuri Vips.
This is what he came to do, but he's only got half the job done. But this is going to be a satisfying day for the young Estonian. Great story. His second visit to Macau, the 19-year-old.
And huddle together a little bit more closely than you are at the moment.
Tallinn in Estonia.
We don't get any champagne for the qualification race, I'm afraid.
So a last chance for a photograph.
Lots of photographers. There'll be many more.
Yeah, you can see that the celebration is not muted, but they're holding themselves to account. But a quick chat on between Schwartzman and Vips. And we'll hear from them in a press conference. If you're staying online with us, we usually get a press conference. We'll get a little word from Ian here now.
From your point of view, it was all
Let's listen in.
Yes?
Not so, I would say. I had to really push quite a lot to maintain the gap with Robert. He was really, really fast today. But yeah, I mean, if we do everything like we did today, tomorrow, then I'll be really happy.
When you started the last lap, I think I might have said the gap was 1.1 seconds. So if he got a little bit closer, he'd be able to use the DRS.
Yeah, actually on the second last lap, I got some yellow flags for some reason on my steering wheel, so I slowed down, even though there weren't real yellow flags. So I think otherwise the pace was very, very similar. I think I could have kept this 1.4, 1.5. But yeah, I really had to push a lot and make no mistakes. So yeah, really good drive from Robert.
I'm sure you'll be asked this question when you get to the press conference, but just to ask you as well, you've driven the old type Formula 3 cars here and now the new type. Much, much faster. You and Robert were trading fastest lap, new lap record here. Is it a big difference?
Honestly, massive, yeah. Well, first of all, the power, the weight, there's so many things that are different, and yeah, just the car behavior in general is, you really had to, even the guys who have experience, we really had to like readapt to driving these new cars because it's a big difference.
And of course, you didn't have to use DRS because you were in front all the time, but if you have to use it, it's going to make a big difference as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the effect of DRS is massive here. I think if Robert would have got into DRS, then yeah. I don't know how big it is, honestly, because I didn't get overtaken now, but it should be massive because the straight is just so long.
Well done, Yuri, on being the first winner of the new era of Formula 3 at Macau. A word with Robert. Well, you were fighting very hard to get into that 1 second. So
turn now to Robert Schwartzman. Let's hear from him.
We start from the beginning. I had a quite decent start. Then Christian was quite close to me. But I mean, everybody did a really good job. Everything was safe. So I kept the second position. And basically, straight away, there was a safety car. After safety car restart, Yuri did quite a good job. He did quite a big gap. And also in turn 3, there was some dust, so I didn't want to risk anything. And so I took it too easy. And then straight away, Yuri was out of the 1 second range. And then, yeah, at the beginning, he was a bit faster than me. But towards the end, I started picking up the pace. And we started to get closer and closer. But yeah, I was trying to do my best to get in DRS, but didn't quite make it.
Nearly, but not quite. But it does mean, of course, you will start from the front of the grid tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, already gonna get used. I started today second, so tomorrow's gonna be the same thing. Just same strategy. Just do a good start, be in a right position for Lisboa, and then try to survive the first lap. Hopefully, gonna be in top 2, top 3, and from there on, we're gonna challenge for the win.
And of course, the circuit gets quicker and quicker. I think I'm right to say that you ended up with the fastest lap, so you've got the new lap record for the circuit, and tomorrow it's going to be even quicker.
Surely, because today we were the first one to drive on track, so it was a bit dusty. Tomorrow, for sure, in the afternoon, it's going to be more clean with more rubber, so for sure the track is going to be quicker.
Well done, Robert. Congratulations on your second place. I'm sure you'll be trying hard to win tomorrow. And Christian, that was a storming start, wasn't it?
Christian Lingard.
The start was pretty good. I think all year we've struggled with the start, so I'm happy to finally make it work, especially on a track where we need it with the long straight, so I'm only super happy.
And your race generally, after that great start, you were, of course, early on trying to get second place.
Yeah, obviously I knew today is a race you need to finish, so even towards the end I was just taking it easy. I had the gap. When Callum was behind, had the DRS, I was actually surprised he couldn't overtake, but I think the slipstream I had on those two helped a bit, so I'm just super happy to be on the podium today.
And what do you think of Macau generally? Is it your first time?
It's an unreal place. This track is a circuit that you need to drive once in your life. I still can't get my head around it. It's amazing.
It's like nothing else, isn't it?
Nothing else.
Yeah, and you'll be driving it again tomorrow. I hope you said just once. You'll do it again tomorrow, and perhaps an even better start, and you'll lead.
I hope so. There's always place for improvements, so I think we can make it work for tomorrow.
Well done, Christian. Congratulations on finishing in third place. There we are, the top three finishers in the qualification race.
And thanks to
more applause for them.
Mr.
They'll now make their way to
Titchmarsh giving us the interviews there. We did hear from the top three, and sorry, Alan didn't get over to there, but congratulations to you.